1991, you have your thing with Warrior that starts, and you've been a babyface since the end of '86, beginning of '87, and you're turning heel against Warrior. Whose decision was it for you to go heel?
Well, that was a bad moment of my life too. It was I'm in Orlando, Florida, and I get a phone call from Vince. And Vince gets me on the phone and he goes, Jake, we're going to do something with you and Warrior. We've got an idea. So you need to go ask Warrior for permission. Ask him for what? Just go in his dressing room and ask him if it's okay if you guys work together. Kidding me, man? So I went in there, and he's stomping around the room, marching. Are you serious? Dude, what's wrong with... Oh, by the way, he had a separate locker room, too, you know. I said, Warrior, I need to ask you something. What do you want, Snake Man? I want to know if we can wrestle each other. It'd sure be great for me. Me. I don't know. Let me tell you how it goes. We go to the ring and we do what we're supposed to do. You do your job. You got it? Yeah, I've got that. Whatever it takes, you show up. You don't ever miss a day. You just be there. Be prepared. Always be prepared to do what's needed. I'm like, yeah, man, I can do that. Okay, just know that I don't give a about you and your family. I don't give a about problems. I don't give a about anything that you do. I just want you to be there and do what you're supposed to be doing. I got that. I got that. I've never been talked to like that in my life. I wanted to knock that out right then. I probably should have, but I didn't. I just bit my lip. He cost me about $40 in extra money on bar tab that night. I'll tell you that, because I had to drink a lot of to get the taste out of that mouth. But wouldn't you know what happened? We go and do all those vignettes in the graveyard when he was going to go into the room and all that with the snakes all over the room, which was pretty funny too, because we told him, when you go into the room with all the snakes on the floor, don't step on them. Slide your feet. And what did he do? Of course, snakes did what they do. They bite your when you step on them. And they're biting the out of his boots, man. A couple of them got him on the calf. Oh, good guys. But we did all those vignettes and all that, and we're getting ready to start wrestling each other. And it's SummerSlam. SummerSlam, he tells Vince McMahon before he goes to the ring, he has to have $1 million in cash brought to his locker room, or he's not going to the ring. Vince paid him. But when he walked in from the ring, Vince said, Warrior, you're fired. Get the out of my building. Then Vince looked at me and he goes, you have the worst luck, Jake. So I go from making $15,000 a week to making $5,000 a week. That hurt. And he's the that's not showing up. He's the that not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And he had talked to me like that. That stuck with me for a long time. Until WrestleMania in New Orleans, where I get inducted to the Hall of Fame, who's on there too? Warrior. So I made up my mind that I was tired of chewing on that and I was going to knock Warrior out. You know, I've made up my mind that I've got to do that. If I can do that, then I'll feel better about myself. Well, wouldn't you know, I've got my back turned and somebody taps me on the back and I turn around and it's Warrior and he goes like, Jake, I've got to apologize to you. And I'm like, and he apologized to me for talking to me that way and for f***ing it up and costing me all that money. Because he probably cost me over $1 million. That's hard to take.
And when that program was about to happen, were you up for turning heel? Was that something you wanted to do?
Yeah, I hated wrestling babyface. It's so boring. No, it is, man, because as a babyface, they expect you to do certain things, you know? As a heel, you can do anything that you want and it's okay. You know, you're just changing things up a little bit, giving a different twist. I love being a heel, man, because you can go out there and really with the people's minds. And that's what I was made to do. You know, sometimes I with them a little too much. Dallas, Texas, I was wrestling Sting, and a guy stands up in the 8th row and pulls out a pistol and starts shooting at me. That was a close call. When I slapped Elizabeth, that almost got me killed. But goddamn, it was fun. There's something about having all these people just wanting to choke you out. And they're driving away going, ha, ha, ha.
You were lucky in a way that the Warrior thing happened because you then got to work with Randy Savage, which I'm assuming was going to be a much better gig in the ring than working with Warrior.
Yeah.
You did a big angle at SummerSlam where Liz opens the present and there's a cobra in it. What was Randy like to be around? How protective really was he of Liz?
Oh my God. He was so protective of Liz, man. I mean, he was psychotic over jealousy. Oh my God. I mean, I've been in situations where I've seen him go off on people because they told her hello. That's how psychotic he was, man. Don't talk to her. She's not wrestling you. Excuse me. Damn, I just told her hello. I didn't ask her for a BJ. You know?
So you start working together. Swiftly on. So because when you start working with Savage, he is retired technically,
Right.
because they did the angle with Warrior, that he lost at WrestleMania. So for the first little bit of the program, you just get to berate the out of Randy Savage on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
How fun was that?
Oh, it was great, man. Just with him, you know, and doing different stuff to him, getting in the ring, cutting promos on his ass. And he could only take so much before he had to come to the ring anyway, so they lifted the ban after I tied his ass in ropes and let that cobra chew on his ass.
Let's talk about that. Talk about that day. Who came up with the idea of the cobra biting him?
Vince.
And was Randy Savage happy to do it?
He was happy to do it, man.
So what was that day like?
But he had some stipulations. I remember the night that the snake's going to bite him. He came to my locker room, or came to the locker room, because he had a separate locker room too for him and Liz. And rightfully so. But he came to my locker room and he's like, okay, brother, Tonight we're going to do a little something special. Freak out. Yeah, Randy, that's what I heard, you know. Are you absolutely sure that snake doesn't have any venom left? He's been fixed, man. You know, they've taken the venom sacs out and replaced them with silicone. There's no way that he's got any poison. You're clean to go. Maybe he is, and maybe he isn't. What do you mean? Stranger things have happened in the WWF. That snake may not be fixed at all. Maybe you're trying to take the macho man out. I'm like, Randy, you're nuts, man. Maybe I am crazy. But I tell you what's going to have to happen. Before that snake bites me, the snake's got to bite you. Dig it? Are you serious? Yeah, I'm serious, and we're going to fight. Oh, man. So I got up and got the snake out, and I had blue jeans on. I pull up my pant legs and let him bite me on the leg. He bites me on the leg. I get him off, push him over there, and Macho Man's like, all right, don't move, don't take no elixirs, don't take no antidotes, don't take no vitamins, don't take no penicillin, don't take. I'm like, dude, you're a freak, man. And he's like, just sit right there, let me watch you. And he pulls his chair up and he's sitting right in front of me going, how are you feeling right now? Stupid. Stupid's okay. So that night, whenever it was time for that snake to bite him, I turned my back from Macho Man, and I take that snake. I slapped the dog out of that snake. And that snake goes, die, die, die. Boom. Snake bites him, and I'm in the ring watching him chew on him, man. The snake's just chewing on his arm. I'm like, oh my God, this is good. And, you know, I think I'm starting to get woody. And it keeps biting. It just kept chewing on him, man. And finally, I'm like, man, I got to get this mother off of him. So I grab a hold of the snake and I pull. He won't let go. I tell Macho, by the way, you're doing a great job selling it. Get that off of me.
Whose idea was it to go from a python to a cobra?
Mine. I was tired of carrying that heavy-ass python around. The python weighed about 110 pounds. And that's a lot to lug around everywhere you go. You know, and the king cobra weighed about 12 pounds. And people got the away from you when it came out. When he come out and would hood up and start that look at you, people got the away from me. I used to throw that thing in the shower with all the guys in there. All you see was asses and elbows.
So you do the program Randy Savage, and then you slap Elizabeth at Tuesday in Texas, and her family are very upset, so the program ends.
Yeah, that's when they killed the program because Randy couldn't take the heat at home.
And then you end up leaving WWF because you've been promised the creative job. It didn't happen. Talk about what you were promised at WCW compared to what you got and why it happened.
God, I was promised the world, man. I was promised damn near a $2 million contract, which was unheard of. I was promised percentage points on pay-per-views. I was promised, oh, my merchandising deal was like a 50-50 deal instead of a 1/16th of a percent that you were getting for Vince. You know, now I'm getting 50-50. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it would have been an unbelievable deal, man. But Bill Watts took care of that. That fat.
Because when you leave, Vince lets you go, but he says it's a 90-day non-compete, right? And it's like day 85 where Bill Watts said. So what's the conversation like with Bill Watts? You get there. What's the conversation like?
Oh my God! He just looked at me and laughed. He took the contract. He goes, "This is no way this is happening." And tore it up. What pisses me off? It's not his money. It's Ted Turner's money. So what? But I find out later that his deal was for every dollar that he saves Ted Turner, he gets a percentage of it. So he was going back to guys that already own these big contracts, and he'd say to them, "Look, you're going to have to redo your contract." I don't need to redo my contract. My contract's perfect. And either you redo it or we're going to start beating you every week on television for as long as you're here. Which my answer would have been, you go ahead and beat me every week. I can deal with that.